Alright, this is old electronics fan. And this, you might think this is a Hallicrafters radio. This is actually an impulse buy. Well, yes, it is a Hallicrafters, I admit. But I was at a swap meet and I saw this and I said, oh yeah, Hallicrafters, that's a familiar name. Now, it's going to seem kind of silly, and I'm revealing my ignorance here, but I'd forgotten that Hallicrafters are capable of AM and CW. And let's see, okay, that's right. This is a bunch of bands, 4 of them. I believe spread tuning band spread. I believe this is, well, actually it might be for this too, for shortwave. But so it looks like I have 3 shortwaves and then the AM. I may actually have to get a user's manual to figure out how to, or learn how to use this. But so let's start with what we can do and what we do know. Well, first thing I want to do is check out the power cord. Usually on something of this vintage, yeah, it's not great. I don't see major problems. Let's swing this around here. Now, it looks like this had a cord that was secured to the back panel, and someone has changed it. And as I look at this, you see that it's also breaking right there, right where it goes in. Not surprising. I'm going to leave that off for the moment. Is that the same as this one? It might be. In order, if I'm going to use this on this radio, I may have to trim this. This came from an old radio, and the wiring here is a bit sketchy, so I decided to use this for working on stuff for which well, when you pull the back panel off, the cord comes with it sometimes, so I thought, well, I'll keep this around just for that. Figured it's safe enough for me to use, so I wouldn't want to sell it to somebody and have it short out on them. So, this says power consumption 30 watts. Interlock plug is provided, yes. These are the different antennas. There's a ground, A1, A2. You have to find out about that. These two are shorted together, so it may be just, this is for everything, I'm not sure. Did I say what it was? This is an S-38. I think that's a B. I'm not sure. And yeah, this says S-38 early and revised. Some of these do. Not terribly helpful. So, let's see. I want to look to see if it. Well, that's just for calibration, alignment, whatever. All right. So, if we go to the bottom of this, it says, important for your protection, this receiver has been properly adjusted and sealed at the factory. Breaking these seals without written permission from the factory or dealer will avoid your RMA guarantee. Hallicrafters out of Chicago, U.S. So, should we worry about that? Yeah, no. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the back off. Let's see what we have. 4. Alright, should that can fit? Yes. Now, I am approaching this radio differently than the R-35. I was actually, before I worked on this, or before I pulled this out, I was working on the Zenith L507, I think it was. And I'm running into some weird problems with that. So my goal with this is to get this working correctly. And then actually, I might actually use this to troubleshoot that one, because when you have two radios, you can put them close together, tune them to the same band, and then check to see if the oscillator is working properly. Now, I did have this on a signal generator, and it seemed like it was working. I was getting signal, but it didn't. The volume control just didn't matter. So that I thought was odd. So it's puzzling to me, because that's not what I'm used to. Usually, when you turn the volume up, you can hear the RF. And I played with modulation and RF level on my signal generator, and it didn't seem to matter. So, anyway. Okay, so we've got a speaker up top there. And this is an older radio, probably late 40s, I'm guessing. I don't think this tells me. Probably, I'll look for that later. So now let's see here. What I'm going to do, let's pull my knobs off. I think I am. Well, there is something there. Let's see. Well, I could have sort of gone here first, because this one actually has them all identified by sizes. I forgot I had that. Who knows how long I've had it? I didn't know that I had. Of course, here's the problem. You have stuff that you don't use. Out in the garage, I have a pair of Allen keys. One for metric and one Allen key sets, I should say. Are we? Ah, yes. Allen key sets, and they have handy cases that I can just slide the Allen keys into, so that it's easier to. All right. So that it's much easier to use. And this is relegated to use in here. Because I do occasionally need it in here. But as you can tell in my pawing around and trying to find things, it doesn't happen very often. So, glad I spotted that in there, because I probably would not have remembered. No probably about it. I would not have remembered that I had that. Let's see, do I have? Pill bottles, very handy. Don't want things to wander off. So we'll do that for now. Let's see. Well, I guess this stuff can go back in here. Why not? This little pouch is very old, and it's now got a mixture, as you can see, of all kinds of different Allen keys, American and metric, just for fun. There it goes. One more. Where are you? There you are. Feels like this one's already been loosened. Come on. There it is. Yeah, that was loose already. Okay, well, let's see. I will put that back in here, actually. That way I'm going to know where it is. Oh, looks like I put... Uh-oh. I'll have to deal with that later. That's the trouble with having two sets of keys. I accidentally put one key that belongs in here and that. I'll have to find it. Alright, so, what else are we dealing with here? Now it looks like people over the years have had this apart because I see this is the wiring going to the speaker, and it definitely looks like somebody soldered and unsoldered those more than once. But actually, let me go back to, let's go back here, because we got screws here and screws here. I'm going to loosen those up, loosen one of them up anyway. Let's start here and see what happens when I do that. I don't know if this is separate from the chassis and it's connected only here at the front, or alright, well, I guess I'll find out. Okay. Okay. Well, it doesn't feel like it's falling out now that I've removed the screws. So I'm going to make the assumption that well, that this is secured to the chassis, although I don't know. I guess we're going to find that out. We're investigating. Next thing is, well, let's see. Let's go here and looks like those two screws. Huh. Well, now let's it's kind of interesting why this one looks really good and that one looks shot. Don't know why. Maybe somebody's replaced some of these over time and that one wasn't replaced, or they did something bad, like they sprayed it with a chemical that's damaged it. Sure looks like age though. Alright. Okay. Feels like it's kind of glued. Okay. Is there something else here? Oh, it's stuck. Huh. Okay. Well, oh, I had this little tab on the back, and because this one was being stubborn, it didn't come out. Wow. Wow. It was really on there. Yeah. Kind of looks like some of these have been replaced. When you compare the two, that one's really bad. And apparently somebody only had 3. Well, anyhow. Okay. What have we got? Alright. We have a dead spider. Lovely. Huh. Okay. So I should fire up my soldering iron so I can get that speaker undone, so then I can take this out of the chassis. Oh yes. Well, it's interesting. It's while I'm waiting for that, let's zoom in a little bit. And we'll go down here and alright. Down in there. Those are the switches, the 2 screws I took out, and there's a piece of the bracket that goes up and looks like it goes to the top of this chassis. So it's that way on both of them, and it looks like there's, if you look up there, you see a little, I'll do this again, you see this right here, that looks like it's a plastic piece that this bracket screws into there, and I had no clue why they would do such a thing. Alright, now let's take a peek here. Of course, given what this is set up for, it's kind of busy in here with all these. Whoops. Let's zoom back out here. So you've got all these. You got these coils and these tuning capacitors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 that I see. And there might be more on top. It doesn't look like anybody has touched this. What does this say? Hallicrafters. That's an original Hallicrafters part. All these capacitors, with the exception of that one, look the same, but that looks like a factory soldering job. There's another one up there. It says phone. That's your headphones. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see, what's that say? Can't tell. Not sure. I'm trying to read it upside down. Let's see, what is that? Mica mold. Huh. I didn't know they made paper capacitor. Well. Alright, I think the soldering iron is ready to go. And I think I want to tilt it up a little bit so I can get at it. I was recently watching some videos from Jim's radio shop, and he likes to use a rotisserie, or a Lazy Susan, I guess is the correct term. And for the longest time I've kind of shied away from that, but I'm thinking there are times when that might be helpful. So if I happen to find one at a tag sale, I might grab it, try it. But since I don't have one, I will make do without. Okay, you can't see what I'm doing, but you know what I'm doing. I think I am. I'm soldering. Alright, for you. There we go. Alright. That takes care of that. I think. Oh, don't go there. Alright, so we got that unhooked. I'm going to run these out the back. I don't want them poking through the speaker. That would be really not nice. And then, let's see. Yeah, it's an interesting setup, and it looks like I really didn't really need to move that bottom cover, although I kind of wanted to look at it and see what I could see, but then of course once I took it out I would be able to see what I wanted to that way. So anyway, I guess I really didn't need to remove that cover, that bottom one. Oh no, I broke my RMA for no reason. Just kidding. I'm going to get this out of my way because I can see that being annoying. Alright. Well, we got, oh yeah, we're loose now. Yep. Well, that's interesting. Okay. So, I'm kind of surprised that there's only 2 sections to this. That could mean that this doesn't have an RF amplifier tube in the front of the chassis. The thing that I'm going to do, well, first thing I want to do is That's my tuning. Alright, I don't want that to fall over. Okay. So, the first thing I want to do is I want to check and make sure that we aren't dealing with something that's shorted. And I went through all that and you couldn't see a thing I was doing. I'm sorry about that. I keep forgetting when I've zoomed in. Alright, so right now, let's see, how am I going to do this without having this flop onto the top of my workbench if I don't want it. Well, alright. Alright, no, don't do that. Alright, so I'm just going down here, and I've got the on-off switch on, don't I? I do now. Okay, and just want to check and see, are we shorted immediately? 120 ohms. It's not shorted. Okay, so that's good. Let's see. Well, then, now, one of the things I noticed when I was looking through this was that it gives me voltages, a little chart right here. V1, V2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I would really like to be able to do it maybe this way, but that's not going to work because I have to have something there. Alright. That capacitor is very unhealthy. Let me move down to that. That's drippage. Looks like it melted out of there. Oh, spider, get out of there. Right, fine, be that way. So, I'll have to see what that goes to, but that looks very unhealthy. This one does too, up here. Let's move up there. And swing this around a little bit. As you can see, that one doesn't look very good. Looks like there's wax melting out of the bottom of it. So somebody's been playing this with unhealthy capacitors. If I had to guess, this would be the rectifier. This goes to ground. I wonder if that's I wonder if there's a cap to ground. Okay, well this concerns me because that's AC going straight to there, and given how hot that looks like it's gotten, I'm betting it's not healthy. So let's just start off with that one. Fire that thing up, and we're going to just nip it. I want to take it out anyway. So this is one of the reasons why I like to look around. It's actually a hole in the end of that thing. Looks like it's spitting stuff out of it. You know, all this stuff we see here came out of there. Well. Oh. I thought I had a crack in this resistor. Wouldn't be the first time, but it doesn't. I think it's just wax. Okay. Alright, so let's see. I need this. Okay. So we're on 25 volts up there. Let's back off. Wait a minute. And well, there, and let's see, up there. All right. Well, that surprised me. Interesting. Well, let's go up to there. Yeah. At 150 it stays closed. And since it's got a fair amount of voltage running through it, I'd say that was a pretty good thing that, well, it's a good idea to change that. So, there's that. We've got this one. This looks like it's part of the signal chain, but I'll have to look at that closer. But let's just check this out. I'd like to have something that would, maybe that will work. Alright, well, not really. Alright. I said at one point I was going to myself, I'm going to build a stand that would allow me to support radios where I want them. I've yet to do that. I actually bought some materials, so I was going to do it. I had a design in my mind that I was going to build, and I never did it. So let's see, what are you? This is a sprig. Yeah, I'll do that. I don't think that's going to work. Nope. 600 volts, 0.02. Alright, 0.02, is that what this tells me? I'm just curious. That says 0.25. So, yeah. This is the only circuit diagram I could find for this model. I highly doubt if I go hunting further I'm going to find one, although I probably should look. Hallicrafters is a fairly popular radio, so maybe there are other schematics that would be better. But do I have a 0.2 safety cap? And that's going to be let's see. All right. Here's what I'm trying to figure out. That's really odd. All right. Let me explain. Let me complete my thoughts so you can follow along with me. Let's play along together, shall we? In replacing this, I want to know, is this going from the AC line to the chassis, which a lot of them do, or is this, well, maybe doing both, or is this going between the two legs of the AC line? And so technically, if it's going between one side of the AC to the chassis, you want a Y cap. But if it's going across, if I remember right, if it's going across the AC line, then you want don't do that. I really need to do something better there, don't I? Oh. Let's try that. Okay. So, so when I look at the schematic, it tells me that this is going from here to case. But look over here. So when you have two different ground symbols, what you're dealing with is you have this is your B minus, should be, and this is the case. So this means that the two sides of the AC line, neither one of them goes directly to the case. I have a radio up there that actually does that. It actually goes directly to the case. Not ideal. This isn't all... Oh. Okay. I just noticed something, that these two pieces here, these are the two screws I took out. Oh, alright. Okay, I just learned something about this radio. One of the things that I've heard about Hallicrafters is that they aren't entirely safe, because you can get zapped with them. But I just saw something which I thought was rather interesting, and I'm going to bring it to your attention. These are the two mounting screws. There's a rubber cushion between the chassis and where the screw goes into this mounting point. Let's go over here to... Remember I was wondering about these, and wondering, I was a little bit puzzled because they seem to be, it seems like they could move, but they didn't seem loose when I took the screws out. Well, here's the deal with that. There's another insulated connector here. If you look inside, it's a plastic piece. On this side there's a rubber cushion and looks like a felt, or a what are they? It's like a paper washer, kind of. So this is isolated from this, and this is isolated from this. So even though this is in a metal case, the chassis never touches, or it's never connected to the case, which is kind of interesting. It makes me kind of wonder about how, well, I guess I figured it out. One of the things that you're doing when you're putting a capacitor between B minus and the case, is you're trying to deal with RF noise and stuff. So that's what I recall. And because basically this chassis is just a great big antenna that could pick up noise from sources you don't want to be getting noise from. And this is interesting. Oh, okay, so now go back to my point. Seeing this, I would normally go to a Y capacitor, AC to case. But look at this. If I can get you in there to see it. And it's not looking very promising. Yeah. Well, I wonder if the circuit diagram shows me this, because that would be nice. Volume control, noise switch, volume control, where are you? Somewhere in here. That's what that should be. Yeah. This should be the volume control. And one side of the volume control goes to ground, or to B minus, I should say. And then you've got the shielded cable. I'm trying to figure this out, and you can figure it out along with me. Let's zoom in there a little bit. Alright, zoom in. And more zooming. Alright. I'm fairly certain because when you look at, this is your last, well, this is your IF can. This is the end of the RF chain because it goes into this tube, which has a couple of diodes which are designed to strip off the RF so you can get audio coming out of here. So this is considered, I believe it's called a detector tube. And also notice you got a 220, which I'm assuming probably, I'm very certain that's a 220 picofarad cap, and that's going to ground. That also helps filter out RF stuff to clean it up so you get clean audio going out there. Now, back to this. There's a shielded symbol here, and it's basically saying that this wire between here and this capacitor has a shield on it. Now, let's see, does that match up? I don't know. Maybe I can just try to get in there and see if you can see what I'm trying to show you. Because I think this is rather interesting. Actually, my meter will tell me, and it will tell you. All right, let's zoom back out. This would be easier than all that. Let's just use our meter. Voila. Meter. Okay, now, let's see. Slide this back a little bit. Okay. This is the fun part of this because the schematic is saying one thing, but what I'm seeing says to me it's not quite accurate. So let's grab, doesn't really matter, does not. I want to go up here to this, got this on, alright. So I've got this to one side of the on-off switch. It's actually after the switch. Alright. Come back. Now, theoretically, one side of this, okay, .6 ohms. That surprises me, unless my meter's just not got a good connection. Let's try 1 ohm. I don't know if I got a good connection. Are we making good connection here? Let's go there. Okay. Why for are you doing that? Let's try a different cable. Let's start with this. This is a fun game called Check Your Cables. Well, I guess I'm checking my meter. I guess I thought this one was the one that went to 0.8. Now there it is. Okay. There's, well, 0.9, 0.8. Okay, fine. Be that way. Alright, so now we're here. So let's confirm. I'm going to go down here to 0.9, that's close enough. Let's go back here. Okay, down here. 10 ohms. Okay. Alright, if I go up here, this is the other side of the on-off switch. 0.8. Makes sense. Go down here and 0.8. What that's telling me is that this connection, which is AC line, goes up here. There's a thin wire that goes down and actually connects to this shield, which you may not see. There's a shield hiding in here. Right in there. And it's, so basically, the AC line is connecting directly to the chassis, which is really odd because they've got a capacitor that goes between the line. Oh, it's going across that. Okay. Come on. That wire is that wire? That doesn't make any sense. That's not ideal. Yeah, no. That wire can't be. It can't be K ohms. What is going on here? Alright, let's do this. Let's find out. Are we having problems with the wire already? Before I start up? Well, okay. That's 0.8. Let's go here. Come on. I wonder, oh, my on-off switch. I bet you my on-off switch is not healthy. Lovely. Well, there is a fix for that. It's a pain because I have to take this out. But, yeah, that switch is not healthy. So I need to fix that before I do anything else. Okay, so back to my original point, which actually led me to finding a problem I didn't know I had. Okay, so here's what we got going on. The reality of the way this is wired is not this. This is tied to this, which means that this is effectively across the line. And let's see, I know I have safety caps. Okay, well that was fun. I went hunting and I did find a .01, so that's what I actually put one in. I didn't probably need to, but since I'm going to replace it anyway, I decided to go ahead and do that. Now I went looking for the coupling capacitor for the output tube, and guess what? It's got one of these. It's an early, not exactly an IC, but it has multiple components in one package, whatever you want to call that. A couplet, I guess, is probably what it's known as. It's a thin wafer here. It's got multiple things. So what I want to do is I'm going to fire this up. Got my speaker connected. Got a couple of jumper leads there. I put a jumper lead across my control because it's going to take actually more work than I thought. There are two wires going up from a ground lead that goes to the chassis. Both of those have to come off. There's a ground wire goes down to there. So, yeah. Alright, so this is pin 5. This is the grid of the output tube. So, let's see what we have here. Well, I have a pilot light. And I don't have anything else. Well, I'm not getting over voltage here, but let's see, since I'm not getting any sound out of it, do I have plate voltage on my output tube? It's V4. Plate voltage is going to be pin 3. Pin 3 is supposed to be 110 volts. 1, 2, 3. 96 volts. That's pretty good. see. In 4 should be a screen grid. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 82 volts, and this is supposed to be 103. So what's the voltage? Let's grab this one. I want to know what my AC volts is coming in. Let's see. Alright, we'll throw that there too. What are we getting? I have this on an isolation transformer, which is also a variable transformer. Whoops. And for safety's sake, I always use that. The only time I wouldn't is if the whatever I'm working on is more than 4 amps, but I almost never work on that. That's very good. So we're good there. So the question is, have I got something wrong on the settings? Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh. Sounds like I have a noisy tuning capacitor. Oh, I don't have an antenna hooked on this. Well, let's put one there. I'm not getting a lot of them. I'm getting a little bit, but not a lot. Let's see. Can we? Alright. Well, I'm pretty sure that's on the AM broadcast. Of course, I could have a dirty switch. Well, I don't know what she's saying, but we have a channel on F. It's on. Oh, let's see. Trying to see which one of the which megacycles, 5 to 1.7, I think. That's pretty neat. That part's working. So what I think I'm going to do, now you can hear it hum a little bit, which tells me that this is less than healthy. Oh, that's interesting. Really interesting. Fun. Let's turn this off for a minute. Off. Yeah. This capacitor goes from the chassis, which has, depending on which way the cord goes, full AC, over here to this switch. Now they went through the trouble of isolating this, and then they put this capacitor here. Now, of course, what that means is you aren't going to get full AC at this point, but you could get enough voltage on here to give you a bite. It will bite you a little bit. What I would love to do would be to find a replacement cord that I could rivet into place here. I'm fairly certain I do not have anything, or if I do, it's pretty tired. And I doubt I don't know if I can find, because here's what I would like to do. I'd like to rivet a replacement cord in there with a polarized plug on the other end of it, so that I could make sure that this chassis never gets full AC on there. This is probably why people consider these to be well, less than safe. I really don't want to just take that out, but I don't know. And I'm not too excited about taking this out. Not really sure why that is there, what it's doing. I just don't know. I'm trying to see if there is someplace else where I can run the power cord, but I don't see an easy spot to do that. Now you notice something here? This is covered with paper, and I'm not exactly sure why they did that, but maybe, well, it doesn't make any sense because you got the chassis really connected to this through that. Interesting. Yeah, all right. Well, I guess I don't really need to sock that down real tight. It's in there. All right. It's a whole lot easier to operate this if you have a knob on it, as opposed to using a pair of pliers or using your fingertips. Now, if this doesn't work, I'm going to use my my deoxit, see if that does any better. But let's try this again. Oops, come back. Wait a minute. I wonder. Okay. I made a mistake. This, I believe, has to be all the way this way to get AM. Well, okay. Well, I definitely have to learn about this sweep band spread, as they call it. As you can tell, it gets really noisy, And I don't know if that's how it's supposed to behave. Like I said, this is new. This radio is new to me. But I definitely am going to look for more information on this. Hopefully there's a user's manual for this floating out there somewhere. And I'm hoping there's a newer version of the schematic available. That would be helpful. But, I mean, it's doing pretty well considering I've replaced just that one capacitor. So, what I'm going to do, fix this, replace this. It's humming a little bit, but it's not horrible. Of course, that hum means that it's not healthy and it needs to go. I'm wrapping up part 1 here. Hope you'll join me for part 2 as we continue to work our way through the various issues this little set has. Hope to see you then.